My inspiration for this video was Diego is singing to Fausta in one of the scenes in the show, and Gregorio was less surprised than I thought he would be that Diego's singing to Fausta when Gregorio knows that Diego and Francesca are together, yet he doesn't know who Fausta and Roxy are. So why isn't he more alarmed by the fact that Diego, his son, is singing to a completely other girl, whom that's what he thinks is another girl? He doesn't know that's a character, as far as we know. Gregorio doesn't know that Roxy and Violetta are the same person, or Fausta and Francesca are the same person, so that's where the fanfic will pick up, where he's a little more suspicious of this factor. So that is the inspiration bit for this story. The 300th fanfic. Awesome. Next to happen in the story, Natty will come into the garage to see All But Leon, the band All But Leon, there with some big news. She had overheard the conversation between Roxy and Gregorio and reveals that it comes in saying, "Hey, I just found out that Gregorio and Diego know a secret about Roxy and Fausta, but don't know what the secret is." Then Maxie suggests maybe there's a clue in one of their previous performances, so he looks up a video of Roxy and Fausta performing, and then zooms in his focus on the girls' faces, and a realization happens that, oh, they're a couple junior Jeremiahs. And so he doesn't drop the tablet. He hands it over to Andre. Then, as he gasps, he puts a hand over his, cups a hand over his mouth, and it's like, oh, they're a couple junior Jeremiahs. And he'll be shocked and cup his hand over his mouth, and the rest of the people in the room, and maybe Natty will ask, what's up? What did you just figure out? Something like that. And he'll respond with, those two are a couple junior Jeremiahs. And everyone will ask, Natty will ask, what do you mean by that? But everyone will be thinking that. And he'll explain, don't the girls look like a couple other girls at the studio? And then everyone else starts focusing in on the two girls, and then realizes why Maxie said that. And realizes they're Francesca and Violetta. And then Leon will come in and, Leon comes in after. And then they'll be like, oh, we can't tell Leon. And then they'll debate whether or not they should debate whether or not to tell Leon about this theory they have. And then the decision will be made ultimately to not tell him. And he'll come in as they say, okay, well, we're not going to tell Leon. And, with that trope. And Leon asks, why aren't you telling me? And they'll figure out some excuse. And that's about where I'm at with the story now. Yeah. So, yeah, that's where it's at. After Leon hears the excuse, maybe we have, say, Maxie, pull up a video of Violetta, singing, I can't remember what it's called, but the one that she's underneath it all, that song. And then have Maxie say, listen to the lyrics. And Leon be like, I've heard the song before. And have Maxie be like, but have you really listened to the lyrics? Because the lyrics are telling you a lot. They're telling you to look deeper. you'll see I'm not who I say I am, kind of thing. And so, maybe after him not buying the excuses that they're giving him, that's how this story can continue. But I don't know if I'm going to change my mind when I look at this later. So maybe the next part of the video, Leon asks, can I know who's keeping the secret? And Natty responds with nope. And then one of the other people, one of the band members will chime in with, maybe we can tell him 2 of the people keeping the secret, 2 out of the 6 people keeping the secret, because, you know, in a way, you know, Fausta and Francesca are 2 different people, because, you know, as Fran, she's hiding the fact that she's Fausta, as Fausta, she's hiding the fact that she's Fran, and same with Roxy. Roxy's hiding the fact that she's Violetta, and Violetta's hiding the fact that she's Fran, so in a way, plus Gregorio and Diego in my fanfic, who are aware of the secret already, that makes, in a way, 6 people keeping the secret. So maybe we have one of the band members chime in saying we could tell him the people who are keeping the secret, but not the people who have the secret, if that makes sense. And then Leon learns, okay, Gregorio and Diego know a secret about some students at the studio. And he starts cluing in that maybe he's being Jeremiah'd. And so he goes to Herman and discusses everything with him. And while they're discussing everything, Angie walks in. Violetta's off being Roxy and rehearsing at this moment, so she's not around. But Angie comes in, hears the story about how he thinks he might be getting Jeremiah'd, and she figures out, oh, that's why she looks familiar. And then figures out that Violetta is Roxy. And I don't know if I'm going to have her figure out that Francesca is Fausta, but I know I want her to figure out that Roxy and Violetta are the same person. And then maybe Herman and Angie help Leon to get her to tell the truth, kind of thing. But that's where I'm at right now. Anyway. So we're going to pick up in the story after Leon has learned the identities of Roxy and Fausta. He's then going to get an idea and say, I could have some fun with this, and explain his idea to Herman, Romulo, and Angie. And after he explains his idea, he asks if Herman's okay with that. Herman will say, it's a little harsh, but if you go too far, I will tell you. So Leon responds with, I won't, I promise. I will not go too far with this little scheme, and everything. And so then we're gonna fast forward to Violetta and Francesca coming home for supper, and Francesca, knowing how Violetta is, has brought Fausta with her just in case, and in a little bag kind of thing. So Leon's gonna start by being very nice to Violetta, pulling out her chair, saying, you know, being all nice to her, and then once they have their food, he's gonna go off and trash talk Roxy and Fausta in front of Fran and Violetta, going as far as saying that he'll ask Violetta if she's friends with Roxy. Violetta will say, yes, we are, and he'll be like, I didn't get that impression, because he's going to lie and say that Roxy was at the garage trash talking Violetta earlier on in the day. So after hearing that, Fran will be like, well, Roxy would never say that. and he'll be like, oh, you're one to talk. And he'll reveal that Roxy got all this information and saying that, and she said to Violetta, or called Violetta jealous, controlling, judgmental, all these negative adjectives about her. And Leon will reveal, will say, well, you're one to talk, Francesca, because in his story, because he'll then reveal that because Roxy told me that Francesca, or that Fausta, fed that information to Violetta that she originally heard from Francesca, and blaming Francesca for getting all this information, for that information, so kind of hitting both of them, and everything. And so he'll say, really? Because I heard you were the one who fed the information to Fausta, who ended up feeding that information to Roxy, who fed that information to him. And everything. So, this is how he's messing with them. And then they're like, and both of them are like, Roxy and Fausta would never do that, and I never said that. And Francesca will say, I never said that. I never told Fausta any of that, so I don't know where you're getting that idea. And Leon will be like, oh, it's too bad that Roxy and Fausta aren't here to confirm what you're saying. And then both Violetta and Francesca will look at each other and be like, makeup check? Makeup check. And they both go up to the upstairs bathroom to check their makeup and transform into their alter egos. And then the alter egos will come back and tell Leon that they've heard that he's been, spreading rumors about them, and that none of that is true. And Leon will respond with, really? Really? You can say that to me? Jeremiah Jr. 1 and 2? And then Priscilla will chime in with, who the heck is Jeremiah? And one of the other guests at the table, I don't know, Ludmilla maybe, she'll explain, oh, that was a character Herman created to spy on Violetta last year. And everything. And so, based on what Leon is saying is these two girls are Violetta and Fran, and everything. And at this point, Federico, who's at the table because he lives with them, has figured out. Okay, he knows. He's figured out figured out who we were talking about, kind of thing, because they hinted at the fact that they knew there were two new Junior Jeremiahs earlier on in the story. And so he'll have already figured that out and realize, oh, so you know about them. And so maybe that's what he says, and then they're like, wait, seriously? You know who we huh? What's going on? And maybe something like that, and then, yeah, I know. Romallo could see it right away. He saw a video of you guys and knew right away that was Francesca and that was Roxy, kind of thing. So then Roxy and Fran will ask, well, how'd you get this knowledge in the first place that they were Junior Jeremiahs? And they'll do some investigating and realize Diego spilled the beans to Gregorio, and then while Gregorio and Roxy were having a conversation about it, Natty listened in and spread that information to the band, and then the band spread that information to Leon, and Leon spread it to, Angie and Herman and Romallo and everything, and now here we are. So then Francesca will call up Diego and give him crap for revealing that information, and, you know, the domino effect that happened because of it. And then I think then Diego and Gregorio could come to the house and apologize for, you know, spilling the beans in the first place, and then a little while later, forgivenesses are said and apologies are had, and that's kind of how the story will end. Just a thought, just thinking. And this is my 300th fanfic, so I really hope I do good on it.